right, folks, let's give it our all because today is all about the number 100. Shalom, everyone, and welcome back to Hebrew Vocab Boost. I am not gonna lie, the vocab videos from the last couple of weeks have been a little intense. They've just had so many twists and turns, and today we get to take a little break from the madness because today it is all about the number 100. So the number 100 in Hebrew is Me'ah, and it's Mem Alef Yod. And so the academia has determined that the shoresh is Mem Alef Yod, which they almost always do when the last letter is a hey. But I'm sure there are still those who will claim that the last letter of the shoresh is a hey. But it doesn't really matter because there are no verbs involved here. So, as I mentioned, Me'ah means 100, and it is attested many, many times in the Tanakh, both in its singular form, Me'ah, in its dual, and in its plural form. And of course, all of these forms are still in wide use today. So, Metayim is the way to say 200, and this is just Me'ah with a dual ending on the end. And so this is the only correct way to say 200. It is not correct to say anything like shte me'ot. The rest of the hundreds, all the way up from 3 to 900, use their full feminine form. And then the plural form of me'ah, which is me'ot. So we have shalosh me'ot, arba me'ot, 500, 600, 700, 800, and 900. I sometimes get tempted to shorten the vowel like we do with the teens and say something like 700 or 900, but it is definitely supposed to be the full number, sheva and tesha. And we use the feminine number right before the word me'ot, even if what we are counting is a masculine thing, because the word me'ah is feminine, and that's what you're counting, right? You're counting however many hundreds. And if we need to say 100,000 or 100 million or 100 billion, then they are all said with the singular 100, me'ah, and then the singular of the bigger number. So me'ah elef, me'ah milyon, me'ah milyard. And then if we have 200,000, we're going to have metayim elef. So metayim because it's 200s, but then we still use the singular form of elef. The thousands part is kind of the way we do in English. We don't say 200,000s, we say 200,000 with a singular thousand. And then 300,000 would be shalosh me'ot elef, and 400 would be arba me'ot elef, and so on. And of course, we can also use just me'ot on its own to mean hundreds of something. And when we do that, in English, we always say hundreds of trees or hundreds of cars. There's always an of in there. In Hebrew, it's just the word hundreds, me'ot, and then the plural noun, whatever it is. Me'ot mechonyot, me'ot etzim. Me'it is the fraction 1/100th. And of course, we can always have more than 1/100th. We could have 700ths. And so the plural of me'it is me'yot. And so you could have something like sheva me'yot, 7/100ths. Now, at some point, me'on meant percentile because I have it in a bunch of my dictionaries. but those dictionaries are all old, and nobody recent says that me'on means percentile. They all say that it's the same as me'it, 1/100th. And there's also a word me'yon, which means also 100th. But I believe me'it seems to be the most common way to say it. And so to say percent and percentile, we have a totally different word, achuz for percent and achuzon for percentile. These are related to a word, a shoresh, that means ratio, and so completely different. And so besides meaning 100, me'a can mean a century. So if we want to say in the 19th century, we would write it like this, and we say Bame'a ha-19. So we use the cardinal number. It's like saying in the century 19. And that means, of course, the 1800s. But with lower numbers, we can use the ordinal numbers. I believe this is up to 10. I was recently reading an article that mentioned the 4th century, and it said Hame'a ha-revi'it. And in that one, it was written out, so I'm not quite sure, if there's a definite cutoff when you have to write out the number using letters, or when you can use the actual Arabic numerals. And that is it, folks. When I started looking into this, I expected to find all kinds of words and deep, dark meanings and tangents, and I was actually a little glad I didn't. This one is 100% about 100. As always, if you have any questions or feedback, leave it in the comments and I will do my best to respond. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe, and press the notification bell if you want to see more. Lehitraot, Papa Ama Pa'a. See you next time.